Hi everyone, it's Jerusha coming to you today on Tuesday, April 25th, 2017. I want to make this special video on maintaining the ends of the dreadlocks because I got a commenter. I love when people comment and when they make special requests for videos, which doesn't happen very often. But I am going to go over their question and do some answers for it. I've talked about the answers to this question in other videos, but have never been like the title of the video, so never been easy to search. So I'm going to read you their question. This question comes from Tanya Walters. Just an idea. I would love for you to do a video about how you are maintaining your dreadlock ends. Like, how often do you brush them out? How long are they? Do you have any issues with them? Do you put products in? Etc. My dreadlock ends are intentionally loose like yours, but trying to maintain them has been challenging. They are constantly trying to loop up and attach to other dreads. I have to stay on top of them. I have been having the issue of when I brush the ends out, oftentimes I end up brushing out little knotted up knots that are stuck together with little goober looking lint, for lack of better words. LOL. It's probably buildup, but I don't know. Wondering if anyone else has experienced this. Any suggestions? I have not been able to find any videos or info about this online. I responded saying that I'm going to put a link to this video there. That was in their comment. They commented to a video called The Power to Believe by about Dream Academy, Sisters of Mercy, and other things on this playlist that I have. All right, well, I'm going to start from the top here. I have not yet uploaded my, well, maybe I have, I'm not sure. I'm working on editing my 9-month dreadlock update. So that's how you will see some of these explanation maybe for why my hair is a little bit longer than it should be on there. But I'm going to take my hair down and show you the hair that I have, my dreadlocks that I have not done any extensions with. Here, I'm going to show you the ones that I have not extended. I'm going to pull them out for examples to answer her questions that she has. Let's see, Tanya Walters. All right, so she says, how often do I brush them out? Well, I don't brush them out. In fact, I don't even use a brush on my hair. I am at my old set here for a special videotaping here. So I don't have all my tools with me. I have a DoctoredLocks comb. It's called a rat tail comb, but it's by DoctoredLocks. So the comb part is a cream color plastic, supposedly antibacterial, whatever the heck that is. And then it has an end like this, actually. The tail or the handle of the comb is like this. And it's perfect for using, like, this is the DoctoredLocks crochet needle that is 1.5 millimeters, way too big for people to say is okay. But this is the only size that DoctoredLocks sells. And I actually prefer using this. So I'm going to use this to demonstrate what I do with my ends when I wash them, if they loop up. Now, I don't know if I have any right now for you because it doesn't happen every time I wash them, but closer to the beginning, it kind of did. So one thing that has happened, so they say, how often do I brush them out? Well, I don't brush them out. I use a pick type thing. Something that's strong though, not like a hair pick, like you're thinking like people in the 80s used to tease their hair with a hair pick. No. That's not what I mean. I mean something metal, like this, or even a little scissors. You don't want to cut, but the scissors together, right? So just like pull them out. So if you see a loop, it'll be like here. It'll be coming out of the side somewhere. Gently pull it out. Kind of just get in there and kind of just gradually pull it. Don't yank it because you're going to rip your hair depending on how strong your hair is. My hair is really fine, so it's delicate. But you would kind of like work it out like that. Sometimes, a lot of times these loops that she's talking about are actually called budding. When they happen up here in your dreads further up, or like immature dreads, when your dreads are immature, like these extensions are somewhat immature dreads. I get this when I wash my hair. When they get wet, they get these little loops and you can pull them out like that. And then you kind of get them back. So budding is the kind of loops like that happen not at the ends, but up here. So she asks, how long are my ends, my loose ends? So showing you one here that is my natural dreadlock, no extensions added. This is how long it is now. So what happens, Tanya, and the rest of you who like to have loose ends on your dreadlocks, you're not wanting blunted ends, so you're not working towards that, which a lot of people see online and people want, I have no idea why. It doesn't look like real hair to me. But anyway, so part of the maturing process, I'm going to say Tanya, but it's the rest of you I'm making this video for as well. What happens is that your dreads, so when your hair gets wet, and then as it's drying even, like maybe even before it feels like it's drying, it starts shrinking up. I mean, that's one of the aspects to the maturation process, is that getting wet and then it gets kind of longer and elastic and then it shrinks up. Well, that's what's been helping your dreads to mature. That's also what's helping your dreads as they mature. They are starting to suck up these ends. And if you want to keep loose ends, there are a few options you have. You can either comb them out, okay, but they're actually, the ones that are down here are getting sucked up into here. You don't actually want to comb out your whole dreadlock. So if you were to be continuing to kind of like get these out so that there's something there to have, like this one is really not much. I have not wanted to do this because I don't want to ruin the integrity of my hair. This stuff at the ends would have normally been actually cut out with normal haircuts, maintenance haircuts. My hair is very fine and delicate and it doesn't take much for it to break off. Your hair is not meant to stay forever. So this stuff, I really don't think I'm going to get back any of this. So I would be pulling at a little bit of this. You can, quote, brush out your ends depending on how coarse and sturdy your hair is. You could do this every so often. Another thing that you can do, which I know seems kind of weird, because a lot of people are really, I was as well, really against adding extensions, because you really can only add human hair extensions permanently to your dreadlocks. I'll go into that later if you want me to, regarding it, because I did a lot of research beforehand. I wanted to add some synthetic extensions, but permanently attach them. So I looked into it because I wanted to use Kanecolon fiber, which is Kanecolon, whatever. Anyway, that's the best for making dreadlocks extensions. Well, to incorporate them, quote, permanently into your hair, which means making them lock into your hair as extensions, it's probably not going to work well. And I've only found one video on doing it by Astrid, and I don't actually see the results, but I know that she took her dreadlocks out. That video was made about 3 or 4 years ago where she installed permanent extensions that were synthetic. And she showed how she does it to her hair, to her dreads. And then she, I don't know, like 2 years later, she has combed out her dreadlocks. I couldn't actually find her talking about why those permanent extensions for synthetic hair did not actually work out with her hair, with her dreads. But I've heard other things about it to tell me and explain to me why it's not compatible with permanent extensions. You want your hair to lock with it, and when it's something that's human, even if it's not your human hair, it's going to lock in better than something that's plastic. Basically, even the best human, or even the best synthetic dreadlock extensions or extension hair, Kanecolon is the best for, it's not expensive or anything, it's just the best for making extensions for dreadlocks. It is still going to have a melting point, and there's going to be an aspect of it that's sort of not melding with your hair. It's probably not going to mature the same way either. So I just answered the question that I was saying I was going to make a whole video about. Well, anyway, that's just how I am. So another person who does a video on adding extensions to your dreadlocks to make loose ends, she calls them fake loose ends, is Dreadstuff. Her name's Anne-Marie. She's the one, I believe, in Sweden, who has a shop, who does a lot of videos now. She's doing a lot more videos. She's got long reddish hair, dreadlocks. A lot of them loose ends. So she does a video that I'm going to also link to below that says about attaching fake loose ends via extensions. Now I'm going to show you one that I've done. I'm going to just show you the ones I can show you most quickly. So when I extended these, and I have a video on it, on my extensions that I did, that I installed myself. These are human hair, but it's lighter than mine and more coarse than my natural hair. So when I extended them, I didn't really want long extensions. Okay, so I didn't want it longer than this, even though I know they're going to shrink up as they mature, just like my natural hair did. I cut off, after I had it in for like 2 days, I cut off the ends, about this much of the ends, and I had not dreaded the ends. It was loose. So it was really beautiful, the loose stuff. So I actually kept that and used it to extend some of my hair that I didn't really want to get longer, but I just extended it, like attached to some of my hair, the ends only. So here is one of them that I didn't want to make longer, but I just wanted to extend it with the loose ends. So yes, you can, as your ends, your loose ends that you want loose, get sucked up into your dreads, because that's part of what happens when they mature. I mean, I'm not saying they're all going to, but it's part of it. And if you really don't want that at all, if it happens so much, like with mine, it happens so much. So, I ended up kind of thinking, okay, well, if I don't want all my hair long when I do these extensions, then I can do a little bit of that, adding the loose ends to my ends of my hair. Now, when my commenter talks about the weird things that she gets if she picks out or brushes out her ends of her dreads, right here in front of you, the beginning of this video, I was picking this one out, and there is this that comes out. I'm going to show it to you. So this, if I were to pull it apart, it's a knot of mostly fallen hair. Fallen hair is the word for like hair that would shed naturally. Okay, so it's mostly that. But if I were to pull it apart more and I look at it under a microscope, because actually, like when I did remove this one dread here that I wanted to kind of just have loose hair when I pull it back, I did find more of this. The goopy stuff, it's not necessarily residue. I mean, sure, call it residue if you like to, but it'll happen no matter what kind of products you use on your hair, no matter how residue free. It's a combination of lint, dust from the air, which is often made up of a lot of lint because we've got fabrics and we're just like walking around, you know. And then maybe she says goopy together because maybe she's doing it when her hair is a little bit damp. I'm not sure. But when your hair is damp, it's going to be more goopy. But this is a really pure one. I've got some like bigger ones that come out when I actually take out some of like large portions of my dreads. But it's like, yeah, it's a little bit goopy. I mean, really, you can't have no residue in your hair, even if you don't ever wash your hair, because your hair is coming in contact with the environment and there's stuff in there. So yeah, so this stuff right here, this is somewhat fallen hair, and there's also other stuff in it. This is a very microscopic version of what she's probably talking about. I'll also link to Yannie the Locologist video on getting rid of lint in your hair, which isn't actually getting rid of it, by the way, even though that's the title. Not getting rid of it. You can't get rid of it unless you take your dreadlocks out. So what this commenter is probably talking about is probably lint and also some little residue from various things, by the way. Doesn't matter if you use Doc runners or whatever kind of fancy health food story, natural, low residue stuff you use in your hair. You're going to have some stuff that gets stuck in just because you've got dreadlocks. It's like a major filter of everything. So everything's going to get stuck in there. So that is what she's probably talking about when she's talking about things when she brushes them out, things coming out in there that's kind of goopy or whatever. All right, so she's talking about that in the comments she leaves that her ends are trying to constantly loop up and attach to other dreads. I'm not having that. I didn't have that quite so much, but probably because I did some maintenance, like just by pulling stuff apart and twisting it and like using DoctoredLocks tightening gels and stuff to like twist it and like palm roll it after each time I use it. So I didn't really, each time I shampooed it, so I didn't really have to like separate like specifically my hair. But yes, it would attach to others if I let it, but it definitely would attach to itself. It would loop up and attach to itself. And see here, this is like, these are my natural dreads, and you see how it's getting to look kind of funny. This is the natural way it looks. It's like, this is the dread that's maturing. This is the loose ends and what's left of it. This is gonna be trying to suck, it's gonna suck up in there. And when it gets a loop, you can pull it out, or you can roll it up and make it part of the dread that's extending there. But whatever it is, you're not gonna have loose ends like you want unless you sacrifice some of your dreadlock and pick it out, you know, but you're losing a lot of length when you have dreadlock, when your dreadlocks are maturing. And so I just decided, since it was happening so fast for my dreadlocks, I just decided not to do more than just get rid of the loops, because I didn't like the way that the loops looked at the ends. I would pick them out. As far as products I would use, or things I would use to maintain them, yes, I definitely do use things to maintain my ends. I would anyway, even if I didn't have dreadlocks, but definitely with this, because there's so few of them. Okay, so this is an extension right here, an end extension, but I'll show you this one. So what I do, you can get different kinds of oils, but be careful. I would only use argan oil or coconut oil, or a combination of that. Like DoctoredLocks has a combination. She doesn't use argan oil for some reason, but she uses coconut oil and some other oils in her conditioning oils. You can use those on your ends, even if your dreads aren't mature. So you can use that on your scalp, but you can also use it on your ends. And argan oil and coconut oil both absorb well into skin. Scalp is skin, okay? So your scalp, they absorb well because of the molecular sizes, and also into your hair. So it's less likely to make your hair greasy. So both argan oil, 100% argan oil, by the way. Don't just like look for the argan oil on the label of the product, because that doesn't mean that that's all that much argan oil. I use the 100% pure argan oil from like a natural food section of a grocery store. And then I just kind of put it on here, and I'll put like a few drops on the palm of my hand and then go through, and then I'll kind of go through the ends of my hair. And it's okay if it goes on the outsides of your dreads too, but kind of focus it on the ends of your hair. And yeah, it'll feel like it doesn't make much of a difference. That's kind of why I gave up on like keeping them out. I mean, I wasn't going to leave loops in my ends. I wasn't going to leave it like that, loops, but I just gave up on keeping them nice and loose, like with lots of loose ends. Like this is minimal. See, this is how this goes. This is how it goes. I mean, so I extended my hair. Yeah, I did it. Extended my hair, and then it doesn't take to the dye the same way as these mature dreadlocks do, but I'm kind of just going with it. So those are the answers to your questions, Tanya. Products, argan oil, coconut oil, or combos of that. Like a fine oil, basically. You don't want something super thick. Little tiny knotted up knots are stuck together with goober looking lint. Yes, she says that. I discussed that. How long are mine? Well, yeah, so let me see if I can find you the longest of my ends. So I'm picking out the ones that are not extended. So these are my natural. There's a long one. It's a long natural hair. But you see, my hair was down the middle of my back, kind of like where my dreadlocks are right now. These extensions with my dreadlocks. That's how my hair was before I had dreadlocks, okay? My dreadlocks were only 9 months old. Okay, so that's extended right there. So when you extend them, you incorporate the loose ends into it. So there's an extended one. No, not that. Okay, here's a natural one. This is a long natural one. And that's the loose end that I've got here. Got at least 2 nice inches of loose end, but they're skinny. They're not substantial. And when I did my extensions, because I did them myself, here's another natural loose end here. I decided not to extend most of the hair that's here from my ears forward. I like this hair. I don't need it to be super long. And I didn't extend most of them. So that, and yeah, because they stay out of my way, just kind of pushing them back like that. And I don't need a huge ponytail of hair. I don't really crave like to be Rapunzel or have huge amounts of hair being really, really heavy. So yeah, here's another one that's not extended. So these are all like my natural dreads without extensions right here. So the length of the ends on some of them are quite long, you know, nice and long, but not all of them. Some of them sucked up most of the ends, even though I did, you know, put oils on them and all that. Your dreads are maturing, and as they mature, they're sucking up everything to the ends. Everything from the ends they're sucking up to mature. And it depends on how fine your hair is. Like mine's really fine. So maybe it needed more in order to get dense, but these are very dense dreads. For me to get extensions in here, like I don't even think Debbie would do it for me. She'd probably be like, no, your hair is way too dense and mature to extend. But so I decided to do it myself. And I had to use a needle, sew the hair through the eye of the needle, and then use a needle for part of the sewing. This hair is so dense, I could barely get an embroidery needle, which is the only like thick kind of needle that you can use to get the hair actually through the eye, because the eyes of most needles aren't large enough to get all this hair that you would use for the extension hair through. But so I, you know, to push the needle through this hair, it was pretty dense and kind of hard to do so. So yes, my hair is really, really mature. So using DoctoredLocks products matures your hair really fast, and doing so is good, but it also means that you're going to lose a lot of your length. It's amazing how much you lose. The salt water aspect of it, plus the other moisturizing ingredients, because I would not recommend just using salt water spray, but the other moisturizing ingredients that kind of pH balance it out and like balance it out with moisture for DoctoredLocks products, very good. Aloe vera is also a good aspect of their ingredients. So this is something that fell out when I like picked out that one that I showed you. This is another thing that fell out. This is all fallen hair. So this was just in the sink below. Whatever. I hate it when people do this because you can't really see it any better. Yeah, there. So that's some of the hair that came out of that little tiny end that I barely even made more. Yeah, this one. This is the one. See how like you don't really get much when you pick out the ends. It didn't really give me much. So that's why I give up on doing it. But it doesn't mean I'm going to blunt my ends either. So anyway, good luck to y'all. You know, I think it's great to have loose ends. I wouldn't do it any other way. Definitely helps your hair to dry faster, slightly faster. And I think it looks nicer. So hopefully this video is helpful for you. Take care. And please leave comments below. I love the comments. All right. Bye-bye.